Okay, I think it's now recording. If I now put share, then I need to change. Okay, so can you see the big screen now?
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm
I've got the
seeing.
big screen.
Okay,
Yep.
lovely. So I think I'm recording because something is recording now. Okay, are you happy for me to start?
Yeah, I'll mute my audio now, so I won't be very reactive, but you go for it.
Okay, lovely. Thank you. Okay, hi everybody. I'm Evangelo. I'm the wildlife manager at RSPCA Winch Wildlife Centre, and today I'm going to give you an introduction to some of the work that we do with seals and the impact of littering and entanglements that we are currently dealing with at the centre. A brief introduction about East Winch. We were founded in 1993, and it actually was due to a disease with the seal population known as phocine distemper. And we really have developed and grown substantially, where we have lots of different facilities, indoor, outdoor pools, veterinary corridors, birds, aviaries, everything, because we do rehabilitate and rescue all British wildlife. However, we are one of the largest seal rehab centres in the UK, where we roughly rehabilitate anything between 150 to 200 seals. And the purpose is to rehabilitate, reintroduce all British wildlife. And on average, we take roughly 4,000 to 5,000 wildlife patients every single year. And we have a release rate of approximately 55%. So these are some of our facilities that you can see: our isolation unit in the top left, our x-ray room, we've got our indoor pools and the outdoor pools, and we always do have a vet on site as well to be able to monitor all the animal admissions that we have. Anyhow, let's go straight into seals. So, with the focus of entanglements and the impact of litter on seals, we've started admitting entangled seals in 2012, and we're one of the only wildlife centres in the UK that can rehabilitate an adult netted seal. So we also class a netted seal as a necklace seal due to how the net tends to go around its neck. Now, since then, we've admitted 71 entangled seals, and in the last year alone, we've admitted 16 seals that have been entangled. Now, the materials that they do get entangled in really do vary. It can be fishing line, it can be monofilament line, fishing hooks with some animals as well, nylon netting, flying rings are becoming an ongoing concern, even plastic bags, bolter twine, and we had one this year that had rubber tubing around it. Now, our release rate with our entangled seals is quite high, so it's approximately just over 90% currently, and the time that we've got the seals in rehab does vary. Can be anything between 1 month, so quite a quick turnaround, to up to 5 months. And the seals that we do get that are entangled, again, can be juveniles, pups, to adults. Now, unfortunately, one of the most challenging things that we do have with being able to rehabilitate our entangled seals is the cost that's linked with entanglements. The cost really does vary, but as a general rule of thumb, when you do have an entangled seal, be it if it's a pup or if it's an adult, the key thing that we do need is salt. So we use salt and we put it in the water, and as it dilutes, it basically acts like a natural way of cleaning the wound and helping to remove the infection. Now, a bag of salt can cost us roughly £7, and last year alone we went through just over 11 tons of salt, and it's all to treat seal injuries. And in 2023 so far, because we've had an influx of adult seals, we've already gone through 10 tons of salt. So this is a massive, massive cost to the Wildlife Centre. And as a charity, everything that we do is linked with fundraising. We're not supported financially by the government. So this is a massive additional cost that we're seeing increase every year to be able to treat entangled seals. If we put the salt aside, we go through fish. Obviously, seals are piscivorous, so they feed on fish predominantly, and we can be going through roughly 2 tons of fish a month, which costs anything up to roughly 3.5 grand. However, again, this year we've had more adults than juveniles than we normally do. So there was a time where we were actually going through 4 tons of fish a month, which was astronomical because we haven't had that amount of expense on fish for several years, even at our peak season. Now, the volume of fish that seals actually eat, again, do vary. So the closer the pups go to release weight, they'll roughly eat 3 kilograms of fish a day, which can cost us roughly £30 per seal pup per fish per week. Adults, it can be anything between 65 to 80 pounds a week. Obviously, seals are aquatic or semi-aquatic, but you require pools. So it costs us 4 grand a month, and the larger seals need larger pools, which again requires more water. Electrics, medication, staff, these are all things that impact being able to rehabilitate our entangled seals. And the seal is by far the costliest patient that we have at the centre. So what's quite astronomical is the impact of an adult entangled seal. So we have looked at the cost, and it roughly can cost us approximately £15,000 to rehabilitate one adult seal, as opposed to approximately 3.5 to 4 grand for a pup. Now, with entanglements, there's various things that we need to bear in mind. There is a toxin release once the netting is actually removed. If it's really, really tight around the seal, that causes a buildup of toxin, and then that can be released in the body that can lead to septicemia, which is why we need to have antibiotics. We use the salt baths, but one thing that's really sad is there is permanent scarring. So you can see in this video, Sir David, who was an entangled seal, his wound is perfectly healed. However, there was permanent scarring. Now, in this year, in 2023 alone, we've rescued 9 seals that were entangled. However, there were still over 20 that needed help along the coast, but we don't have the space. So we are currently looking into building more pools, more isolation areas to be able to rescue more entangled seals. But we're looking at a cost of over £250,000 for us to be able to add additional facilities. From those 9 seals, we've had 4 pups and 5 adults, and the material that they were entangled with was monofilament netting predominantly. We did have the plastic rubber tubing, green fishing netting, so there is various types of material. And just to let you know, I am going to show you some pictures that might be slightly upsetting, and we'll start off with some of our case studies. So Ursula was the first adult that we had admitted this year. So she came in as a juvenile, roughly 3 to 5 years old, and she had monofilament nylon netting. This is one of the worst things because it truly cuts into the flesh so easily. And we were going through 50 kilograms of salt per day with her, and as she was progressing through the system, she could actually be going up to roughly 5 kilograms of fish a day, which again is a big expense. But she did do very, very well. And you can actually see here in this video how her wound started to heal really nicely. And it's all thanks to the impact of the medication and the salt. Another seal that is quite upsetting is Kanga. Kanga was admitted a few months ago, and this is only a pup. So this is a grey pup of last season. So Kanga would only approximately be 4 or 5 months old. And you can see in the image on the right, the nylon netting that's all around him. And this just shows how impactful this type of netting is on seals, because this is only a roughly, let's say, 4 or 5 month old pup, and you can see the damage that the monofilament nylon netting has actually caused. Now, thankfully, Kanga was actually released. But at this stage, he was going through 25 kilograms of salt a day, and again was eating roughly 3 kilograms of fish a day. On the other hand, we do have Maleficent. Maleficent is one of the other adult seals that we have that came to the center. And Maleficent weighed, again, juvenile, roughly 55-ish kilos. You can see in the video the green netting. So she had three thick green fishing netting, and you can also see in the videos of her that she has a swelling under her neck. This is due to how restrictive the netting was. It caused parts of her neck to fully swell up. But thankfully, again, she was released. So she gained 15 kilos with us. And again, we were going through roughly 50 kilograms of salt a day. Cruella was one of the largest seals that we had that came in this year. So she weighed 110 kilograms. We released her at roughly 165 kilograms, and she had a rubber tubing around her. So you can see this in the image. And again, you can just appreciate her size. So it's quite scary to be working with a seal of this size, and they can cause a lot of damage. And again, roughly 5 kilograms of fish a day. And this is her in her pool. And I'll let so you can see her feeding, and you can see how sore she is as well. So here you can see the salt that is slowly diluting, dissolving within the water. But what's quite crazy with Corella is that she had two entanglement marks. So potentially the rubber tubing entangled to begin with further up in her head, and then it moved further down, or she was entangled with something else as well. However, we do again have a very happy ending with Cruella, because this is Cruella's release video. So we work with lots of organizations, to include the British Divers, Friends of Horsey Seals, Marine Wildlife Rescue, our inspectorate, and working collaboratively is absolutely fundamental to be able to rescue, rehabilitate, and release. And when we coordinated this release, it was with several of the agencies together, it was very emotional, because she was the largest seal that we had this year, and she did have a proper character on her as well. One of the critical things of the impact of entanglements that we need to consider is how we can actually then instigate change and what we can actually do. And one of the things that we've been feeding into is the Safer Seals campaign. We've been doing this with the North Norfolk District Council, with Friends of Horsey Seals, but also the British Divers have fed into this as well, Marine Wildlife Rescue as well. And they were trying to raise awareness about the impact of flying rings along the coast. So they did raise some money in 2021 with us. And what was also quite good in 2022, we did have the council members come here at the centre. And we walked through the impact of entanglements and also netting, monofilament nylon netting as well. And the end of 2022, the West Norfolk and Kings Lynn Council did ban flying rings on their local public beaches, which is also a great step in the right direction. And the North Norfolk District Council is now revamping the Safer Seals campaign to try and keep educating people on how to behave around seals, but also not to be using flying rings. So what can we do? There's lots of things that all of us can do. And one of the crucial things is to be able to educate and help raise awareness, support wildlife centers that are rehabbing entangled wildlife because it costs, as you can see, so much money. Collaborate with welfare organizations. If you do use rings along the beach, make sure they're solid rings and ideally biodegradable as well. Be part of litter picks, work with divers that can go and check areas to remove ghost netting, remove any discarded netting that you see. Again, work with other agencies and stakeholders to try and instigate change. And to just kind of conclude, there's ways to be able to support the Wildlife Centre as well. We've got an Instagram page, a Twitter page, Facebook, but we also have our open day on the 27th of August this year. So please do come. We'll have lots of activities and lots of education opportunities as well. We do have an Amazon wish list with things such as salt that we use for the seals and a Just Giving page as well. We've got a small shop on site that's open on Fridays 11 till 4 and Saturdays 10 till 4 as well. I'm very, very grateful for being here. And if you do have any questions, please feel free to send them through. But help us instigate change, help us raise awareness, because together is the only way we'll be able to cause change to happen. Thank you very much.